The opinions expressed on the Custody Queen Show are for informational purposes only and are not a substitute for personal, professional legal advice. The persons discussed are fictional and not based on actual clients.
Thought it was love, had kids in between. You can count on us, we're the Custody Queens. Yeah, you can count on us, we're the Custody Queens.
All right, we are back for another Saturday with the Custody Queens, and we, as promised, brought Coach Jackie back.
Put me in, Coach.
Thank you for joining us for a second week in a row, Jackie.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, so before we get into it, I think Kristen has a CQ talk box.
Yes, so for everyone that is new, our CQ talk box is it's an app that you're going to be able to download. You're going to get questions from Sam and I. We get to ask you personally, get up close and personal, but it's just a great, it's a game, it's a conversation piece. It will allow you to have conversations with your children, with your spouse, with your friends, with your girlfriends, with your bonus moms, extra blended families. It's a game that allows you to start conversations that are below the surface, that allow you to really kind of reach into someone's soul and find out what makes them tick, what makes them sad, what are their fears, what are their risks. And I have found that it's a way for my daughter and I to engage on a whole nother level, aside from how was your day, how was school. And sometimes the responses, they make you stop in your tracks because you start learning about these little humans of things that you wouldn't have known.
And we do have different categories for age ranges so that the questions are appropriate. Yeah,
they get deeper as the children get older. But it's just a really fun app, and Sam and I are very proud of it. And you get to see us on your phone, like you don't get enough. But we're just super excited about it. So I'm going to ask Jackie, we'll start with her. This is a question from the CQ Talk Box, and it is coming soon, and we will give you guys all the details about how to get it and where to get it. Jackie, would you rather be loved, respected, or admired?
I would say I think I would rather be respected.
Me too. Why?
I feel, this might sound bad, I love myself. I am confident in myself. I know myself. I am my own best friend. I feel like I am able to support myself in that component. But I think what really I feel worth in is doing a good job at work, being a mentor for people, hoping that people look up to me because I provided them something that maybe I didn't get in my life.
Yeah, mine is respected as well, and I actually thought quite a bit about this one, and mine's a little different. I don't think I'm as loving of myself as I should be. I have to give myself a lot more grace, but I'm a Scorpio, so I am very comfortable being by myself. I could spend a whole day by myself watching Netflix and it wouldn't even faze me. It took my husband a very long time to realize that when I wanted to be alone, I wasn't mad, I wasn't upset at him, I just wanted to be alone. But I am not someone that needs a lot of affection. I am not someone that really just requires a lot of, hugging or TLC, but I am someone that wants to be validated at times. I am someone that has worked really hard to get where I'm at, and so I think it's just the respect for me that means a lot more to me. And I always have Sam to love me if
you really need.
If I really need it. What about you, Sam?
Love.
I knew you were going to say that.
I'm all in with love. Respect's great and all, but for me, my most valuable relationships, friends, family, significant other, for me, that's what keeps me going. And it's not necessarily being loved. It's just having love surrounding you. For me, if I'm staying up late to work on a case, it's out of my heart, my passion, my love. It's what drives me. And so it's also what inspires me. So I don't need people to be in love with me, but I do love my community and love my network. So that is what I would prioritize.
Yeah, and I think there's also a fine line between the differences of respected and loved on different perceptions. I think that sometimes in my head I'm thinking it's respect, and it may be a little bit more of love. It's definitely not admiration. I do like myself enough to not need further
validation.
Yes. But yeah, I think that love for me sometimes can mean respecting me at the highest level. And even if it's like a client taking a minute to say, I really appreciate that you sacrificed X, Y, and Z to do this for me.
Right.
Sam recently, we've had a case that retained when Riley was 3 months old, and both of the children in this case are now 9. So that tells you how long we've had this client, and she's so much more than a client. She's a dear friend at this point. But her trial was ongoing, and Sam had planned a well-deserved, desperately needed vacation, and the judge did not care about Sam's, and she was going to Virginia, I think. They had rented a house, and the judge did not care about her vacation dates. Now, I think if I was on the other side of that table, I would have said, I'm sorry, Your Honor, there's absolutely no way that I can make this work. This has been a vacation that's planned for how many months? I am taking time away from work to be with my family and my kids, and absolutely no way am I going to make this work. Sam, being for her love and her passion, and I think this is what makes her such an incredible attorney, took it a very different response, thinking, this really sucks. I really wanted to go on that trip, but I'm going to fly home in the middle of my 10-day vacation to spend 24 hours, a day of trial, and I'm going to fly back. And I think as a boss, as a friend, as just someone that knows Sam, that's who she is. Now, I would have done it if I was forced to, but I would have made a big deal about it, and that whole courtroom would have known that I wasn't happy with that, because I don't think that's right what the judge did. I don't. I think it was selfish. I think that it could have been handled so differently. But that's the way that these processes go, and it's not just being a client, an attorney, or a case, or being a parent. That's life. And, stuff happens. I can't say the other word, but, it happens. And so I think that's who you are, Sam, and I admire and respect and love you greatly for who you are.
Thank you, Kristen.
You got all 3.
Thank you.
All right, Sam, go ahead and finish with Jack.
Do you want to try to force Kristen to play soccer with me?
I would love to. I have a story to tell.
Oh, when I hit my kid in the face?
For holidays, we
Clarify
try
that
and make it special because they're still little, so we'll do like Easter baskets for Easter. Halloween, we dress up, we do a big Halloween. On Mother's Day, we did a mommy and me scrimmage.
Oh, perfect. I know where this is
I'll tell you
going.
who was breaking the most sweat.
Oh,
He's a competitor, man.
Oh, I have not touched the ball in probably a decade.
Did you score any goals?
I think I did one, but Riley was screaming and yelling at me because we're not competitive people at all. But who did I nail in the face? I think I nailed somebody in the face.
I don't remember, but there was contact from a ball that Kristen hit that hit a little girl, which is fine. I teach them, tough it up. You're okay. Hands over your head. She got
like,
up.
what?
She was fine.
No, and I remember Jackie said something like, Kristen, there's 7. And I was like, so we're playing. Needless to say, we have not continued that tradition.
Well, this encourages me, though, greatly, because I have been trying to get Kristen to go play soccer with me for quite some time. So, Kristen, I think you need to make a commitment here today on the radio, since we have Coach Jackie.
It would be so embarrassing. I did find my copas.
Just say yes.
Circa 19. Okay, I graduated.
She's still an athlete.
I graduated college in 03.
You have your copas?
Yes, I found them.
We'll make it happen. I'll find a way.
I need a commitment, Kristen.
I am. What's funny though is like I'll work on shooting and stuff, and I'm like, some of it's there, but some of it is not
Kristen,
there.
I need a commitment from you.
And Brody's like, Mom, that's all you got? I'm like,
gonna
okay,
take
well,
this
I
as
used
yes.
to shoot really hard, and I used to be able to take corner kicks and stuff, but now it's like, I'm teaching myself how to lift the ball again.
I'm going to take
But
that
yes,
as a yes.
I knew exactly where Jackie was going
We
with
should
that
take
story.
this to the field and have a training day.
Let's do it. That's the point.
All right, fine.
That's the point. We got
it needs to be like
the old
beginner.
retired people now.
Over 45,
point.
because I'm almost there. Do you realize that she is 29? Like,
I'm 34.
I know, but
I'm not
once you
chocolate.
hit but once you hit 30, it's like I always tell
You got
her
300 days.
but you are as well an old soul to me. Like
Yes.
because if like what someone asked me, would you be friends with a 29-year-old? No, like you're on different wavelengths, but you and I have.
You started being besties with me when I was like 24.
I know.
Okay, you were like, you were how much older than
Mature
me?
for your
I'm 9
age.
years older than you. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, so when you were 30, you were best friends with the 24-year-old. How
I
does it
know.
feel?
And you were like, gosh, you were straight out of college. I remember the first time, I think I started selling oils for doTERRA as a side gig at some point. And I got really into the oils, and I was like, okay, I'm good at sales, I'll do it. And I go to her house, she's having her friends over, and I pull up, and she's got like a crop top on, and she's got like a mini skirt, and I'm thinking, oh, I'm way too old for this crowd.
I go through that quite often.
I was thinking, what did I get myself into? Yeah, I'm wearing like the mom maternity jeans,
That's awesome.
All right. So I want to get into a little bit. So Jackie is the assistant coach at Cal State Fullerton for the women's soccer team. And I can tell you, we just had Legends Night the other night for the girls, and I took all 3 of my kids, and they had a blast. I loved watching all of the California girls there on the team. And I used to play in that stadium all the time. And every Saturday, Trevor Ikes, if you're listening, my varsity high school coach at Esperanza, he had us run those stadiums every Saturday. And so I am all too familiar with those stadium stairs. But it was so fun to be out there cheering. I mean, my kids, even, Huddy was twerking at some point, getting the whole crowd going. And he kept running on the field, and they were like, whose kid is this? And I was like, I have no clue. But they were so good with my kids. And it was just fun to watch the girls ball out, and I didn't care win or lose, and I think they tied that game. But I was like, I gotta make this a priority to do it more. And I want all of our listeners to go and buy a ticket. I think it was $6 for a ticket. But I can tell you one of my favorite things of playing soccer was when I saw familiar faces in the stands, and it was just so cool. And I want to make it a priority for everybody listening. I don't care what your sport is, what your team is, but make it a priority to go support somebody in your community. But college, take your kids to a college game. It means so much to them. It's an inexpensive family night, but I loved it. I mean, you played at UCR, so you probably had a lot of familiar friends.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point. And I mean, look, everyone is a sports fan, and everyone spends time watching sports on TV or goes to professional events. But I mean, there is something to be said about the fact that we all have athletes growing up in our community. They're future professional athletes or otherwise great human beings that really enjoy having people there to support them. I mean, it changes everything, and I think that's great. I think that's a great idea.
It really does make such a difference, even as a coach, and because we see the girls feed off the energy of the stands. So I think that's a really
You cannot have a bad time at a sports game.
You can't.
You can't.
And when you hear someone cheering your name, that's like, or may not even know you, but is cheering your name, it was just such like you really we're like, this feels good.
Right.
100%. And, because I play favorites with my teams, obviously, I have, Kristen's daughter's team. They're 9 years old. They get to walk out and sing the national
hold their hands.
Anthem with the girls. And I swear they talk about it for months on end. It is like such a highlight to them. It's important I love seeing it because then they put it in their head like, I want to be like her when I grow up, which is
exactly
it's so
what Riley
unbelievable
said.
to see.
Number 8, I think Gracie, she was, and of course I'm videoing, right? And she's hugging her every 30 seconds. I just look over and Riley's like squeezing her, and I'm like, oh, I hope she doesn't mind. But I love it as an adult. I love it.
And we sell beer at the stadium, so come on.
Yeah, and the nacho,
Yeah.
I think I tried a little bit of everything. I had a potty training failure there that night. But other than that, it was a great night. Tickets are super cheap. We went to Cal Poly Pomona last year and supported their team. Another wonderful, wonderful team. I have a good friend from law school's daughter that plays there, Liberty, if you're listening. I'm very proud of you. But, just pick a team, pick a sport, pick a college, something in the community, and take your family. You can take a family of 4 for $24.
Yeah.
And you can even, I think, bring in snacks. Yeah. But just teach your kids at a young age to support the community. I think it's so important. And I think it does so much more to the players than we realize. I remember one game in Florida, they called me Holy Holy Holstrom in high school, okay? I was a prude. I was very rigid and, Anyways, and I'm in Florida, and all of a sudden I hear, Holy Holy Holstrom! And I'm like, look over in the stands, and it was like a whole family that had grown up around the corner from me that was visiting Jacksonville. And it was hands down the coolest experience. They made a banner for me, but I was like, someone hasn't called me that in a very, very long time.
Jackie, what position do you play?
I grew up as a forward because I was fast, but as I've gotten older and slower, I've worked my way back the field, so now I enjoy playing as a center back.
See, I was opposite. I went from center mid to left wing. But I think more.
Of course, you were left wing.
But I was so tiny. I really was. I think it said I was like 5'6", like 160, you know, on my card, my player card. But I was
They embellished.
5'2" and a quarter, you know, and I was muscular, but I was small. And I played against Abby Wambach, one of my first games in college. And
Wow.
she's hard to move. And after playing it for a year in college, and I had played center mid almost my entire life, that and stopper. And then after that year, I got moved to left wing, and that's a lot of running. It's a neat position, but it takes a lot of training to learn that position. And you played sweeper.
Sweeper, right back was what I played in high school. Right back was what I played in club, and then sweeper in college.
And you played for Arsenal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I told her that.
Or rivals.
Yeah, that was like the big club at.
Noah and Clay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Everyone
yeah,
knows
yeah.
them,
I was like, I have no clue who those were.
Noah and Clay. They were coaches for Arsenal for years and years.
Yeah, well, so when I started playing club, the Blues had just started. Okay, they were a brand new club, and there was like Blues, Slammers, Juica. I mean, there was only a handful of clubs. So when Riley started playing, I didn't even know what Legends was. Literally, my girlfriend called me and said, "I'm picking up Riley and taking her to trials." I'm like, she hasn't touched a soccer ball since COVID started. This was, you know, in 22, and I go, "What's Legends?" She's like, "A club." I'm like, "Club? They're 6." Like,
Where's Legends based? Out of Corona?
Eastville, Norco, Silver Lake Sports.
so where all of those country concerts are, Boots in the Park. That's their home base, but where are the other locations?
We have a multitude of locations. We have Legends OC, LA. We have a branch way out in Yucaipa, but Santa Clarita Valley, San Gabriel Valley, San Fernando Valley. So all of those branches have like their home bases, but there's actually a lot of fluidity and movement throughout the teams. We understand that some families are able to travel way further distances. We understand that some are not, but we want to make sure that those opportunities, the same opportunities, are provided for all of those branches. So I think we do a really good job of having a home base, but making sure our sister branches still feel like super valued and they're getting the same opportunities, same training caliber and things like that.
Yeah, and I will say there's a lot of clubs out there with all the franchises or licensing that there's not the same fluidity. You're basically putting a sticker on a jersey and you get the logo. And I will say from what I have seen over the last, 2.5 years, and now I have 2 kids there, and I'll have a third one just started Little Legends. So he lasted a whole practice last week. So
Is Little Legends a thing?
Yes. And
What's Little
Our
Legends?
rec and like building into like a little kickers.
And Mimi Rangel, she is the one that is in charge of that, and I absolutely adore her as well. She's a phenomenal coach. I'll have to get her on one of these days. But I will put all the information for everyone listening on here so you can find the website and the opportunities to call, and you can email Jackie. But I will say that from what I have seen with Legends, that the development is consistent. The coaches, regardless, Riley will guest play with other Legends teams, and it is one big family for the most part. Every business has issues, but I think that's just club sports in general, and I am very happy with where I'm at.
So, Jackie, what makes Legends different?
I think there is really an opportunity for everybody. So in Southern California, especially, the club environment and soccer itself is extremely competitive. And it could be like cutthroat. You're cutting kids from a program at 7 years old, and that could really be, defeating to their confidence or even willingness to continue on in the sport. Because of our size and because of the branches and because of the multiple programs that we have. So we do have the Little Legends. We do have a rec program, which is kind of like a pathway into club.
So like the ASO, but it's run through Legends, so I'll put Hudson in that next year.
Yeah, so Hudson will essentially get familiar with coaches that may be coaching him in the future. So our staff is able to get a little bit more hands-on with that community and hopefully build them up to the place where they want to be, so that they could join and be successful in the more competitive club environment. And we have a lot of teams that get we're able to.
Didn't you have like 70 college commitments in this last year?
Oh gosh, yeah, and our olders are unbelievable. The older age groups, our ECNL program is ranked so high. We had
It's like your highest level club national program.
yeah. Oh yeah, sorry, I'm using an
I
acronym.
no,
that people might
I
not
didn't know what
know.
these acronyms were either. I had to learn the RL, which is regional, and then the national. But it's completely different than when we played.
Yeah, but these teams are playing on a national scale, and we have commitments to unbelievable programs like USC, Stanford, Duke. There's a lot of amazing. Another way for younger people, younger athletes to see what their capabilities and what their potential can be, because they're seeing girls who grew up in the same environment as them doing it, right? They're in the youth national programs, they're going to play Division I soccer, they're being successful, and they're going on to play pro past that. So
it was even really cool at Cal State Fullerton when I'm like, you hear, there was a girl from Corona, there was a girl from Menifee, I think there was a girl from Orange County. Riley's like, Mom, they're from where we live. And I said, that is really, so I asked her, I said, was there any legends? And she said, yeah, there was 3. I said, that is really cool.
Now, let me ask you this, because it was a while since I went to college, but do players still, when they get kind of at that age where they're looking in recruiting, do they strategically go to certain teams to try to give themselves sort of a better shot at the college?
I definitely do still think that happens, where you want to be a part of a bigger club with maybe that ECNL or GA tagline, because that does put you playing at the most competitive level. Don't get me wrong, there's still an opportunity, and there's a place for everybody to play. If you do play at a smaller club, you might be one of those diamond in the rough players. And I think that's really important for you to have, if you are in that scenario, to have good relationships with your coaches, being willing to put yourself out there at ID camps and things like that. Because
what's an ID camp?
We used to go to like ODP. We used to go to those, so now they call them college ID camps.
Yeah, so like we will host our own college ID camp that is open for anybody in the high school age group to come attend. So it's basically like we're holding a practice at Cal State
recruiters.
Fullerton.
So if somebody has a child and they're interested in maybe changing them from one club to your guys' club, how do they reach out to you?
You can contact me. I'm one of the directors actually at Legends. I deal with actually all 11v11 teams, so the older age groups actually. So my email address is jackie.bruno@legendsfc.net. And it's really super simple. We do have tryout windows where you can go and get evaluated by coaches of certain caliber teams if you are looking to make the next step in your soccer journey. The one thing that I will say is it's not always easy, and it's not always going to pan out, but just as Kristen was talking about prior, is trusting a process. So even if you don't make that top team right away, there's a chance that coach sees something in you. It might take a little bit of time, but you'll ultimately get where you need to be.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think that there's ever, like Kristen and I always preach this with the Custody Queen core values is just education and kind of getting yourself out there and, practice and repetition. So having, if you're interested in playing soccer or whatever sport it is, you should challenge yourself at a young age to try to explore and see what else is out there. And if you're not happy with your team or you're not happy with your situation, there is a lot of competition, as you girls have both brought up and as I recall. So I think that everyone is benefited by just really absorbing it and trying new things and trying out different coaches and
and being educated.
Right.
Just like attorneys are not a one-size-fits-all, neither are coaches and neither are kids for coaches. And I want to make sure we hit on one topic, and so I'm going to end this really briefly. But I can tell you that when I allow my children to be around people, that it's like a mental checklist in my head. Is this person a good human? Are they going to teach life skills? Are they going to be vested in my child? Because it's a lot of commitment for parents. And I couldn't ask for a better coach and better friend, and I'm not even gonna let her make me cry right now. But it has been a journey for me as a parent and a mom, and just being able to help other parents that may be in my shoes now. But one thing I really do love about Legends, other than the fact that it's 15 minutes from my house because I live there now, I'm there on an average 5 or 6 days a week. I used to say I was gonna get a Sprinter van and park it in the corner, and the porta potties are already there. Just get a shower. But is the level of depth of the teams. So you go to a lot of clubs, they have, the A team or the B team, and that's it. So Riley's age group at 2014 is probably the biggest age group that I've seen at that level. And then they're all starting from that age on. But I think at our age group, we have 4 teams. And to be honest, come December when tryouts are, there's probably going to be 6 teams. But that's there is a place for most kids on some team. But parents, trust the process. I promise you it works, and remind yourself, like I do, trust the process. There is a madness behind it, and find yourself a coach like Jackie that will teach your child so much more than just how to score goals.
And Jackie, I don't know how you have enough time in the day, because it sounds like you're
She is more
coaching
busy.
parents, coaching everyone.
And I quit coaching because of parents. So I joke with her. I said, dude, I quit because of me. Like, But I usually come from a very meaning-well point. Sometimes I just have to smack myself around to get myself there. But it is a process, and we get that these are your kids. But I promise you, trust the process with every aspect of life. And if you don't trust the process, it is not the process you should be in. And if you are going through a case, please do not hesitate to call us, whether it's about soccer. I will get you in touch with Jackie.
Please do.
Sam will do privates, and she's going to get me somehow on the indoor. I'll agree to that. But Jackie, I want you to spend I want you to spend the next 2 minutes, Jackie, telling all of our listeners about Football for Her, because that is something that is very passionate to you and to Sam and I as well.
Yeah, it's very different from the club and college environment, where it's extremely competitive. There's a lot of emphasis on results, that we want to win. We're making sure that we're getting better. It's very organized. But a true passion project of mine is an organization. She's actually a California native. She grew up in Rancho Cucamonga. She played at Long Beach State. Her name is Shauna Gordon. She is our founder for Football
I know
for
Shauna.
Her. Do you really? Yeah, she might be around.
She was on Arsenal.
How funny.
Look at
See,
that.
small world.
She
Sam wants to volunteer.
She spent some time playing out in New York and New Jersey, and that is where I met her, and we linked up when I got to California. But the premise of the organization is to provide a safe space for female and non-binary soccer players, where they can just come, learn fundamentals, play pickup, and enjoy being a part of a community. We offer multiple different clinics and opportunities for mentorship programs as well. We have former professionals, current professionals, doctors, mental health coaches, who all come in and kind of educate the girls on some of the things that I don't get the luxury of time with club. So to kind of spend time talking about your mental health and well-being, how to build confidence, what that looks like. And just it's a really awesome mentorship experience for them.
I've been following
Shauna's
her
a baller.
experience.
She's amazing. She's unbelievable.
Okay, so
Talk
we'll
about
have to-
somebody with no time.
All right, so in 4 or 5 months, we're going to have Shauna and Jackie both back so we can retouch this. But I've been following the journey, and I always try to comment and share, and it's something that if you ever need volunteers, I know that Sam and I would be interested in helping. But Jackie nailed it. The mental health component, it's time for another show, because that is a true passion of mine with life in general, but also with young kids in sports, and remembering that these tiny humans are sponges, and developing a strong mental health at a young age. And it's okay not to be okay every day, and that's completely okay.
Yeah, and I think Football for Her definitely provides that space where it's not super organized. Parents are free to watch, but whenever they start to, try and direct their kid during pickup, I'm like, it's pickup for a reason. Just let your kid run around and enjoy it. They'll get something. They don't always have to get something out of it, but believe it or not, they will.
They'll get something out of it by the break.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, and I'm sure we'll have you back, and we'll bring Shauna back.
Yeah, well, I think
100%.
that would be super fun. And one last fun fact of Jackie, my 9-year-old now walks around the house telling me, BRB, bruh. BRB, bruh. Okay, bruh and bro. And where do you think she got that from? Coach Jackie.
I didn't start saying bro until I moved to California. And I don't know where I got it from.
I say bro,
but-
too.
Okay,
So
there you go.
and Sam, she speaks very profoundly and elongates certain vowels, so I even hear myself mimicking both of you at times. But literally, when my 9-year-old said, I said, "Did you get your water or your back?" Mom, BRB, bruh. I'm like, oh, wow.
Can't win 'em all.
We're transforming into a new era. But thank you so much, everybody, for listening. This was such a fun episode with so many important topics. We will provide all the information about Football for Her. If that is something that your child is interested in, or you know someone, it's in underserved communities. And I love to make sure that we get as much of these activities out there for everybody, because it's super important to Sam and I. But thank you for joining us today and every Saturday at 8:30 a.m. on Go Country 105. And remember, let love rule.